Well, new tonight, we examine money available to local law enforcement agencies. It's cash sitting in accounts known as forfeiture funds. Now, investigative reporter Kody Leibowitz has uncovered one county, Cambria, and how it has some of that money spent. And Kody, what can you tell us?
Well, Erica, our investigation began in January. The city of Johnstown announced at that time that they were doing an internal audit into certain police department funds. Those funds, forfeiture funds. It's money that can come from the district attorney's office and is sometimes given to local law enforcement agencies. At the time, Johnstown City Manager Arch Liston said it appeared some of that money was misallocated. In Cambria County, some of that money is with the district attorney's office. Hundreds of thousands of dollars kept in accounts known as forfeiture funds.
It's not just supposed to be a slush fund for the district attorneys. It is supposed to advance their enforcement of the drug laws.
Money in forfeiture accounts comes from cash or property taken in drug busts or other criminal arrests such as murder, theft, and gambling.
And let me be very clear. Drug dealers should not profit from their criminal enterprise.
According to the state's Office of Attorney General's website, those funds are designed to be used by law enforcement to help fund future drug and other criminal investigations, as well as assist community-based drug and crime-fighting programs. The Cambria County DA's office has at least 6 total forfeiture and non-forfeiture accounts, those made up of local, state, and federal dollars. 6 News only could get information on 3 of those accounts, 2 local accounts, drug and non-drug forfeiture, and 1 federal forfeiture account.
We audit a non-drug forfeiture account and a drug forfeiture account and the DUI task force grant. Those are the ones that we audit.
In December 2015, DA records show the 3 accounts totaled nearly $470,000. As of early this summer, only $230,000 remain, 3/4 of that money in the federal forfeiture account. 6 News spent months requesting forfeiture records from the district attorney's office. Most of our requests were initially denied, so we appealed. In the summer, the Office of Open Records granted us forfeiture-related financial records. Here's some of what we found. In April 2012, the office spent $850 on a staff dinner at Ebensburg Country Club, paid for through their non-drug forfeiture account. Between December 2012 and December 2016, 5 catered lunches in the office, at least $375 apiece, all paid from the same non-drug forfeiture account.
Would going to staff dinners or throwing catered lunches help with the fight against drug and crime problems in a county?
As someone who is not a prosecutor and who's not a police officer, I think it's important that they would have to answer that.
Since September, 6 News repeatedly asked District Attorney Kelly Callahan to sit with us and explain these expenditures. She did in mid-November.
In April of 2012, $850 on a staff dinner at Ebensburg Country Club. Again, that was out of the non-drug, as most of these would be. Do you recall that particular meeting? Do you know why there would be a dinner at the country club?
No, again, I'd have to look.
In December 2015, another staff dinner for $600, this time at Morris Tavern.
Should forfeiture money be spent on that?
Well, the way I look at it is my staff goes above and beyond. They're very dedicated to their work.
Between August 2011 and May 2017, the district attorney's office spent more than $10,000 on food out of its non-drug account. The office wrote charges off as pre-trial lunches, food during training sessions, luncheons for their office, catered meals, and dinners.
It's not improper. There are no regulations regarding this account. The way I look at it is as a motivator and as a thank you for their dedication.
But this isn't the only account where the DA's office spent money on food. 6 News calculated the office spent an additional $3,000 out of its drug account, including $850 at Penn Gables last March. DA records described it as a Narcan meeting.
A luncheon for staff, or dinner for staff, or a charge of almost $900 for a Narcan meeting at a restaurant. Does that fall under the guidelines from the AG's office for drug asset forfeiture?
Well, here's what I would tell you. My opinion, no, a lot of those aren't.
County Controller Ed Cernick's office annually audits the drug account, and for the last few years, the non-drug account. In 2015, the DA's office spent $31 at Honging Garden and $80 at Vera Bradley. It was recorded as office supplies and a trial expense. Cernick says, though perhaps questionable, it's not illegal.
Do I think it's the right expenditure? No. I don't think it's the right expenditure of those funds. But it's not illegal.
With the way the law is written right now.
The way the law is written.
Was the Vera Bradley, were those laptop cases?
Yes, so anyone who comes on new as an assistant DA, they get a laptop and we purchase them a laptop case. They choose it and we purchase it.
From 2012 to 2016, the DA's office spent more than $600 on flowers for employees and for funerals, again out of its non-drug account.
Should that have been done?
Not knowing all the specifics, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
Forfeiture fund should be used in your
Well, I know what I'm saying is I don't understand the logic of buying flowers with them.
Do we need money from drug forfeiture being spent on yoga, meals, junkets? Shouldn't this money come from other accounts?
John DiBartola is a community activist. Like 6 News, he filed open records requests on the DA's forfeiture accounts.
This money should be spent to actually curb the drug epidemic.
Earlier this year, the DA's office wrote checks to Elliot Greenleaf, twice for legal services. The total? More than $10,000 paid out of the Drug Task Force federal forfeiture account. Why? To fight open records requests filed by DiBartola and 6 News.
Why all the subterfuge?
We specialize in criminal law and this is outside our scope. So I felt it was important to get outside counsel.
It's not for somebody else to second guess them. And that's kind of important.
County Solicitor Bill Barbin called spending for the current state forfeiture laws a gray area.
At the end of the day, it's what the judges in the Supreme Court decide is what's right. That's what the final answer is on anything. But our law is set up to give a large amount of discretion to the district attorney.
Even with the gray area, some spending caught the eye of Cernick and his staff. This year, the County Controller's Office wrote about its concerns. We have asked the Attorney General's Office for assistance in determining the proper use of funds relating to the District Attorney's non-drug forfeiture account.
I'm not going to tell Rich or Kelly how to spend their money.
There is no restrictions for what you can or cannot spend out of the non-drug account.
With the problem that we have, these funds should be all dedicated on prevention, on trying to help people out, on trying to deal with the criminal aspect. I mean, that's what I would think.
No, I just want to add that the city's audit in April, when it came back, it was found that there was no wrongdoing with how any of those funds were put into the city police department. District Attorney Callahan says she did not remember most of the charges we asked about, did not provide us any receipts during our interview. She said any and all of those receipts would be with her accountant. Now, as for the non-drug account, that money will be audited across the state in the future and compiled in the AG's annual forfeiture report. Erica, that law was signed in July. They just determined that and put that into, so now we'll start seeing that being audited in the near future.
Well, Kody, you reported that the DA's office spending this money on food and an attorney. Were all the funds spent this way?
Well, no. In fact, the DA's office spent tens of thousands of dollars on community-based programs. They've also bought equipment for police departments. They've even shared some of that forfeiture monies too. So most of these purchases fell under those guidelines. But what we didn't do tonight and what we did examine tonight were those purchases on foods and some other items that some had called into question.
All right. Well, thanks, Kody. Thanks for that.